On a cold March morning in 1603, England fell silent. The Virgin Queen, Elizabeth Tudor, had ruled her realm for 45 years. Her reign had seen triumph and terror, glory and blood. But as the candles burned low in Richmond Palace, a chapter of English history drew to its close, and with it, the very age that bore her name. Elizabeth I was more than a monarch. She was a symbol of power, poise, and pride. Under her rule, England transformed from a fractured realm into a confident nation that looked beyond its shores. The Armada had been crushed, the arts had flourished, and the English Renaissance had found its heartbeat in her reign. But every legend must face its end. And when Elizabeth's final breath escaped her, England held its own. Her death would mark not just the passing of a queen, but the dawn of a new dynasty, a new era, and a new identity for England itself. Elizabeth Tudor was born on September 7, 1533 in Greenwich Palace, the daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, the woman for whom he had defied the Church of Rome. Her birth was not met with joy. Henry had wanted a son, and when Anne failed to produce one, the king's affection quickly turned to suspicion and hatred. Just 2.5 years later, Anne Boleyn was executed, beheaded within the Tower of London. Elizabeth, the motherless child, was declared illegitimate and cast aside. She spent her youth walking a line between privilege and peril. Educated in languages, philosophy, and politics, she was sharp-minded, cautious, and observant, traits that would one day save her crown and her life. The young princess grew up witnessing her father's 6 marriages, the political chaos of her siblings' reigns, and the deadly volatility of the Tudor court. When her half-sister Mary I, Bloody Mary, took the throne, Elizabeth's life hung by a thread. Accused of conspiracy and confined in the Tower, she faced the same cold walls that had seen her mother die. But fate spared her. And when Mary's reign ended without an heir, the path was clear. On November 17, 1558, Elizabeth became Queen of England. Few could have imagined then that her reign would shape the destiny of Britain itself. The England Elizabeth inherited was weak, divided, and nearly bankrupt. Foreign threats loomed large, religious tension simmered at home. But the new queen was resolute. She refused to marry, declaring herself wedded to her kingdom, and ruled with an intelligence and instinct that commanded both respect and fear. Elizabeth's England soon became a stage for greatness. Her shrewd diplomacy kept Spain and France in check, while her support for privateers like Sir Francis Drake helped expand England's influence overseas. In 1588, her leadership reached its zenith during the Spanish Armada. Facing the mightiest navy in the world, she rallied her troops at Tilbury with immortal words. "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too." The Armada's defeat transformed Elizabeth into a living legend. Artists painted her as Gloriana, the eternal queen, radiant, untouched by age or mortality. But behind the image of majesty lay a woman burdened by loneliness, paranoia, and loss. By the dawn of the 17th century, Elizabeth was in her late 60s, frail, weary, yet unwilling to let go of power. Her court had changed. The faces she once trusted were gone. Her beloved advisor, Sir Francis Walsingham, was dead. Her closest companion, Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, had long since passed, and his death haunted her to her final days. England, too, was changing. The golden age of her youth was fading into uncertainty. The question of succession, the one Elizabeth refused to answer, grew more urgent with every passing month. No heir meant danger. Ambition festered among nobles and foreign powers alike. In early March 1603, the Queen fell ill. She grew silent, withdrawn, sitting motionless for hours, lost in thought. Her courtiers begged her to rest, but she refused to lie in bed. Perhaps she feared that once she lay down, she would never rise again. Finally, she pointed to a name, James VI of Scotland, son of Mary, Queen of Scots, the cousin she had executed years before. Her final act ensured the peaceful union of England and Scotland under one crown. In the pre-dawn hours of March 24th, 1603, Queen Elizabeth I drew her last breath at Richmond Palace. The Virgin Queen was gone, and with her death, the Tudor dynasty, one of the most dramatic in history, came to an end. When the news reached London, a hush fell across the city. Church bells tolled, people wept, and poets mourned the end of an age. Her body was carried to Westminster Abbey, laid to rest in a tomb above her half-sister Mary, the two women united at last in death, as they had never been in life. Her chosen successor, James VI of Scotland, now James I of England, ascended the throne, beginning the Stuart dynasty. For the first time, England and Scotland shared a monarch, a turning point that would shape the future United Kingdom. Elizabeth's reign left an indelible mark. She had stabilized the crown, defended her realm, and ignited a cultural rebirth that produced Shakespeare, Marlowe, and the flourishing of the English language itself. Her England had become a beacon of ambition, exploration, and art. Even in death, she remained a figure of awe, a queen who defied convention, outlived every threat, and ruled with unmatched grace. Over centuries, Elizabeth's legend has grown, wrapped in myth and mystery. Some say she died of heartbreak, haunted by the ghosts of those she loved and lost. Others claim she foresaw her own death and welcomed it as destiny. Her title, the Virgin Queen, became both symbol and shield, though historians still debate what truth lay behind it. Many portraits painted in her later years were deliberately altered, smoothing wrinkles, brightening eyes, hiding age, crafting an image of eternal majesty. To her subjects, she was not mortal. She was England itself. But history tells a more human tale of a woman who fought to survive in a world ruled by men, who loved deeply but trusted few, and whose strength forged an era. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. With those words, England turned a page, from the golden age of the Tudors to the dawn of the Stuarts. Elizabeth's death marked not only the end of her life, but the rebirth of a nation that would soon rule the seas and shape the modern world. She left behind no heir, yet a legacy beyond measure. Her reign had been a performance, a vision, and a revolution, one that changed England forever. This was the day the Virgin Queen fell, and the day England began anew. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Legends of Britain for more tales of kings, queens, and the history that shaped a nation.